Methods of identification. First is anthropometry. Anthropometry is the scientific study of the measurement of the human body to determine differences in individuals. The system was invented by Alphonse Bertillon, a French policeman and researcher at the end of the 19th century. Bertillon considered that each person's body proportions are different, and he developed a way of using photographs to measure a person's unique dimensions. Bertillon worked as a records clerk at the Prefecture of Police in Paris in 1879, where he would be transferring arrests and criminal background data from various sources onto standard points. He noticed that arrest to physical description were too general and vague, so he developed this anthropometric system of physical measurements of body parts, especially components of the head and face, to produce a detailed description of an individual. He also standardized the way photos were taken and added the profile mugshot, and this system became known as the Bertillon system. Second is portrait parley. Portrait parley can be defined as rigorous system for verbal description of physical characteristics of the subject. The portrait parley is an identification technique invented by Alphonse Bertillon in the early stages of development of his anthropometric measurement system. This method, compiled in 1893, was meant to supplement measurements and better ascertain the identity of a given person. Each section of the body and face was designated by a corresponding sign and transcribed in succession, the end result being an individual descriptive card that could be further condensed into a notice. Bertillon broke down each part of the human face into minute details. The nose, for example, had 6 key descriptive features: root, teeth, dorsum, base, height, and breadth. In addition to the facial key are eyes, lips, ear, and chin heights were mentioned too. The whole concept of the portrait parley hinged on a precise notation system based on an expanded list of abbreviation and conventional terminology. An exhaustive record card could involve more than 100 annotations. Portrait parley featured prominently in the training about new identification techniques received by police officers. This teaching deeply influenced the ongoing professionalization of policemen and gendarmes from 1900 onward. The system itself, however, proved rather cumbersome in everyday practice. Third is forensic odontology. Forensic odontology is the application of dental knowledge to those criminal and civil laws that are enforced by police agencies in a criminal justice system. Forensic odontology is the subject covers a wide variety of topics, including individual identification, mass identification, and bite mark analysis. The study of the odontology in a legal case can be a piece of incriminating evidence or an aspect of wide controversy. There have been many cases throughout history which have made use of bite marks as evidence. Bite marks are usually seen in cases involving sexual assault, murder, and child abuse, and can be a major factor in leading to a conviction. Biting is often a sign of the perpetrator seeking to degrade the victim, while also achieving complete domination. Bite marks can be found anywhere on the body, particularly on soft, fleshy tissue, such as the stomach or buttocks. In addition, bite marks can be found on objects present at the scene of a crime. The fourth is forensic anthropology. Forensic anthropology is the application of the anatomical science of anthropology and its various subfields, including forensic archaeology and forensic toponymy in a legal setting. Forensic anthropology is a special subfield of physical anthropology that involves applying skeletal analysis and techniques techniques in archaeology to solving criminal cases. When human remains or a suspected burial are found, forensic anthropologists are called upon to gather information from the bones and the recovery context to determine who died, how they died, and how long ago they died. Forensic anthropologists specialize in analyzing hard tissues such as bones with their training in archaeology. They are also knowledgeable about excavating buried remains and meticulously recording the evidence. A forensic anthropologist can read the evidence in a skeleton like you can read a book. The techniques they use to answer questions in criminal cases can be applied to skeletons of any age, modern or ancient. The stages of growth and development in bones and teeth provide information about whether the remains represent a child or adult. The shape of pelvic bones provide the best evidence for the sex of the person. Abnormal changes in the shape, size, and density of bones can indicate disease or trauma. Bones marked by perimortem injuries such as unhealed fractures, bullet holes, or cuts can reveal cause of death. Fifth is forensic serology. Forensic serology is the detection of identification, classification, and study of various bodily fluids such as blood, semen, saliva, and their relationship to a crime scene. Forensic serology and DNA analysis are closely aligned sciences, often dealing with the same evidentiary samples which are handled by the same forensic teams. The science behind serology and DNA are therefore typically taught as a single subject. Serology is used to find evidence of an undeniable body fluid, while DNA analysis seeks to accurately match those fluids to a specific individual. Sebetan explained that forensic serologists will typically collect evidentiary samples from a crime or death scene before investigating the source of the samples and conducting further analysis with the aim of matching the sample to an individual suspect or victim. First, when we find fluids, we don't know the nature of that fluid, so we have to identify what type of fluid we have collected, say Sebetan. Then we have to ask, is this fluid coming from a human or non-human? If it is human, we need to find out if it belongs to a specific individual by looking at genetic markers and DNA before we can use it as evidence. The last is DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid fingerprinting. It is a method used to identify an individual from a sample of DNA by looking at unique patterns in their DNA. When first described in 1984 by British scientist Alec Jeffreys, the technique focused on a sequences of DNA code, mini satellites that contain repeating patterns with no known function. These sequences are unique to each individual, with the exception of identical twins. Different DNA fingerprinting methods exist using either restriction fragment length polymorphism or polymerase chain reaction. Each method targets different repeating polymorphic regions of DNA, including single nucleotide polymorphisms and short-tandem repeats. The odds of identifying an individual correctly depends on the number of repeating sequences tested and their size. Sir Alec John Jeffreys is a British geneticist who developed techniques for genetic fingerprinting and DNA profiling, which are now used worldwide in forensic science to assist police detective work and to resolve paternity and immigration disputes.